Hello, good evening, everybody, from wherever you're watching in the world. It's me, Martin Cross. This is Crossy's Corner, and I have an extra special guest today, Jason Osborne, newly crowned champion of esports cycling just a few days ago. Hi, Jason, you're joining us from Portugal.
Yeah, that's right. We are currently in Avis for rowing training camps, and it's like our last couple of days here, and then we're leaving back to Germany.
So how did it work that in the middle of a training camp you were doing this World Championship race on Zwift? How could that happen?
Yeah, well, basically for Swift, all you need is a good Wi-Fi connection and your smart trainer, your bike, and then you're all set to go. So it was basically just talking to the coach and making sure that it won't stand in the way with the rowing training, and then we figured a way for planning it, and in the end it worked out quite well. Like, it didn't interrupt the rowing training that much, and now we are continuing basically with the rowing training, and have been making some great developments there also. So
Oh, really?
not too bad. Yeah.
Wow.
The double is going quite well. So nothing to worry about.
So how much extra training did you do for that World Championship event? Or when you say what would be your training in the run up to that event? What would it be like?
Yeah, so obviously my focus was a lot on cycling the last few weeks, and I've been getting some help, obviously, from training perspective. Like, obviously I have good coaches in rowing, but cycling is like kind of different, so I got some help there, and so was able to train specifically for that event, like, which is completely different to a rowing event, like 2,000 meters. The Swift is like up and down, and it's always like you have to adapt your body to to handle that stress and to recover, to even in like high intensity phases, like be able to recover, and then to otherwise you would get dropped in the race quite quickly. So that was the task. I did like lots of intervals specific for that race, and so physically I was like obviously perfectly prepared. So all I had to do is to execute the plan on that day, which I had in mind, and that was just a basic idea.
So Jason, how long have you had some specialist coaching help for your cycling?
Obviously, the last couple of years, not that much. I've been like with Robert, and we have been planning cycling around rowing, but it was a part of our training, like, but the intervals and all that stuff was not that structured. It was only like, what KOM can I tackle, and not really having anything in mind for a really structured plan. So I thought that I would get a boost from it, maybe, if I had like some structured training on the bike. I think it worked out quite well. That I think it probably made a difference. So and the guys are quite good. So they're like have some experience in triathlon, and they are coaching also like high class athletes. So I don't think it was a bad idea.
So give us an idea. When you say intervals, I mean, what would a typical training session, or what would some of the training sessions that you did on the e-bike be like?
It was like quite a variety. It was most of the time was high intensity, and then the other was just like low intensity, obviously, and it was like in those high zones like zone 5, zone 6, those really hard grueling intervals, and I think that worked out well. And also like some like, what did I do the last week before? I did an activation interval session. It was like 9 times 630 watts for 30 seconds, then recover 30 seconds, so 30-30s called. And but that was just for activation, and
that sounds hard.
It was hard, but I think it paid off. And we'll probably maybe cycling wise stay in that structured scheme, because
So you've done Zwift races before. You've won King of the Mountains on Zwift. But was this the race that you were best prepared for of all the contests you've done?
I would have wished for a more like harder course, obviously, like maybe Alpe to Zwift or something, which has like some really high meters of elevation. But it was, I know this KOM from the competition, and know what my best time was, and how I had to pace it and all that stuff. So, and all the Zwift competitions I did in Germany on the Zwift Tour of Germany, it was called, they all were running on that segment. So I knew the segment very good, and like my 1 minute, 2 minute power is it's good. So I knew that I would have a good chance, but I also wasn't quite sure because, like, say a sprinter was able to follow, and on the top there's like a false flat. So if a sprinter would have made it to that point, it could have gone a completely other way, and maybe I wouldn't have been able to win it. So
was it your intention? Did you go out and say, I'm going to win this race despite all the cycling names that you had in that race? You know, people like Victor Campenaerts or Edward Rosenhagen. I mean,
obviously I have a lot of respect to those guys. I mean, they've achieved like big things in cycling, but like number wise, if I look at the numbers, like I'm not that far off. So maybe I can in some like durations I'm maybe even better. So I didn't fear any of that, like the physical side. I didn't fear like I was not matching their power numbers and all that stuff. And also on the Zwift platform, it's like not as on the road. It's not you don't have the tactical things going on, and so obviously for a rower it was a good competition. A rower knows how to hurt himself and how to just put the hammer down, and so I think
So how hard was it for you to stay in that peloton? How hard were you going? What did it take out of you during the race?
It's like Zwift races are like quick changes of intensity. Like if you don't watch out, then you get dropped like immediately. So you have to be focused like all the time. And I was nearly getting dropped once. It was a downhill, and I wasn't like focusing, and then I saw the pack moving away from me. So I thought that and I was doing like 700 watts to close the gap.
Wow.
And I was hardly closing it. So that's how the game works. Like the groups are making such a high pace because obviously there's always one shooting in the front, and then it's like how do you call it? And that develops such a high speed, and I had to do 700 watts to get back, and so better watch out in those races. So
you said something about, if someone like you who's used to training on Zwift, the algorithm, and the professionals might not know the algorithm. What did that mean?
Yeah, just like I said, like when you get behind the group and you don't have the draft anymore, then you can pull out as much as you want. You won't get anywhere close to closing the gap. And obviously on the map itself, there were like some specific key points where you had to, let's say it like when you invest like some more power on those specific key points on the route, then you get easier. Then you can get more easily over like a hill or something, because like the gradient is not always equal. So for example, in the last climb, there was the first right corner, and it was really steep. After it was like 10%, and if you invested like a bit more before the corner, and that's why also because my avatar went to the front after that turn, because I invested like a bit more, and it's those little things that add up in the game. And so if you know the key points, if you know the map itself very well, then you can obviously save some energy. And
give us an idea, because I know in the last part of the climb you were doing 12 watts per kilogram. I mean, it was, your average in the race was 4.7 watts per kilogram, but you put out an enormous amount of power. Were you confident of winning when you came to that last hill?
The funny thing is we didn't have any team tactics or anything. Like, it was just basically, we had a German team, but it was who wins from the team is the winner, and nobody works for anyone else. So everyone basically had the chance to win, and we didn't pick like a guy who was favored and who the people should work for. So it was just me being lucky, having that one German teammate leading me out after the first corner. So, and I didn't really notice it. Like, I was so in a tunnel view that I just had, like, we were all connected on Discord on the gaming channel, and had some earphones, and the coaches were talking to us like during the race and telling us how to go through the race, and where it's important to invest some more energy and all that stuff. So they were just shouting that, "Come on, guys, it's the optimal lead out now." And then after that last left turn, I just heard like, "Okay, now you have to go. Put the hammer down. You have to go. Otherwise, we won't win." And then, ramped it up to 12 watts per kilo, which is like not insane numbers, like if you see the sprinters, but obviously the sprinters didn't make it to that part. So good for guys like me.
Wow, that's amazing. And how did it feel crossing the line?
Yeah, the funny thing is, I had a dropout in the last like 100 meters or so. The dropout is when your smart trainer loses the connection. And I was basically, you can see that I was doing like cadence-wise 120 RPM or more, but I had 0 watts. So the last 50 meters, I was just rolling through the finish.
Wow.
And, I was a bit in fear at that moment, because if it would have happened before the last dip, then wouldn't have rolled into the finish so smoothly. So
yeah. And
it's lucky, kind of.
you used a power up just as you were approaching the finish. How do they work? What's the idea of that?
Yeah, basically power ups is like a joker. Like it helps you going faster, or I don't know, like they have 4 or 5 different ones, but for the race they only accepted like 2, which was the arrow helmet and the feather. So
Yeah,
the feather makes you, I think, 9.5 kilos lighter for 20 or so seconds, and the arrow helmet makes you, I don't know, some amount faster for 20 seconds. So, but the arrow helmet like makes only sense in a flat part, because like only makes sense when you're moving fast. So on the steepest part itself, it wouldn't have really made sense to use
yeah,
the arrow helmet. So yeah, and the thing was to get, because there were 11 chances to get a new power up. Like
yeah,
every banner, you get a new one, and the chance is 50-50. Either you get the feather or the arrow.
yeah, yeah.
So the job was to like obviously use 5 or 6, and then if you get the arrow helmet, to keep it for the last climb.
Oh, that's amazing. Jason, I know you've got some fantastic achievements in cycling. You came 6th in the German Time Trial Championships. I know on Strava, is it the you're king of the mountains on the Muur van Geraardsbergen in Belgium?
I didn't. It was quite a, yeah, it was funny. Like I underestimated that climb. I was in Belgium, like meeting some friend there and cycling with him in like where the Flanders route is always taking part, and we did all the classic climbs, and then picked some for chasing the KOMs, and then I said, let's go for the Muir, and then got the KOM from Tim Wellens, I think, and after that I came on TV in Belgium, because
Wow.
and Tim Bryce and Niels van Zandwege, they were in that TV show as well, and it was quite funny.
Yeah.
Cycling, in Belgium it's big. Yeah.
So where does this World Championship in Esports, where does it stand amongst your cycling achievements already? Is it the biggest thing you've won, or do you put some of your KOMs or the German time trial higher than that?
No, I think I would place it on top. Like it's obviously it's not on the road, but it's an official like world champion title. So it's basically similar to the world indoor champs, which like for many years like only unofficial in Boston. Like,
Yeah,
but obviously the people who went there and claimed the title, they could name themselves world champions, even though it wasn't like official. And that happened to Swift. Like there was a Swift World Championships before, I think, but now it's like with UCI certified, and it's I get a rainbow jersey. It's like just the same as on the road, basically. So yeah, I think it's the biggest achievement in cycling. But yeah, some
so
KOMs are also like something worth, I would say.
are you going to take a break from cycling now? What's the have you got any more cycling commitments coming up early next year in the run up to Tokyo?
Basically, not really. Like doing road races is like kind of dangerous. I don't want to injure myself, and obviously it can happen in training. Also, that's the problem. But I don't want to take any unnecessary risks, and so there will be no road races. Maybe like I can throw in 1 or 2 time trials. I don't know, and maybe some e-races. But that's about it.
Yeah. And When you're on training camp, what did the team think of you in terms of were they supporting you? Were you in the room just with your coaches? What was the mood like for your teammates?
Yeah, basically it was like the Belgians, Tim Breeze and Niels were here at the same time. They left
Right.
yesterday, and yeah, they like obviously I needed a guy or two to activate my power up in the last few hundred meters, so that was Tim's job.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he activated it like the perfect power up activator.
Wow.
And yeah, they were all just watching and yeah, like cheering on in the last climb, which I think really helped. And yeah, it was like a kind of a nice atmosphere to have a real competition going on after
I know.
not having anything at all. So yeah, even if it's like on Swift, it felt like a real serious competition. So
Yeah. I mean, it felt like that watching it. It's my first time watching a Zwift race, and I was kind of hooked just with the commentary and everything. It was really exciting to watch.
yeah, will be interesting to see if they can transfer something like that with the indoor races, indoor rowing races.
Yeah, that would be
I don't
fantastic.
know. It's they already have like a PlayStation game for rowing. I've seen that on Kettle Boys Instagram. So they have something going on. So why not bring that to rowing, indoor rowing?
Yeah. Greg Kaplan's got a big question. I want to spend a bit of time talking about, what the IOC has decided for lightweight rowing, but he's asked a question about your future intentions. And I know you'd said, you were considering after Tokyo switching to cycling, but
Yeah.
Greg wants to know where your thoughts might be at this time.
Basically, my plan isn't changing at all. Like I still want to give it a shot at cycling after Tokyo. So, and I've planned like a lot of things for after Tokyo. So I don't want to throw up that plan. So yeah, my main goals stay the same, but obviously like having Paris 2024 gives a nice alternative in case cycling isn't working out how I wish it would. So it's just a nice plan B option.
Yeah. A great plan B. What can you?
A lot of rowers have done the same, like Hamish Bond.
Yeah.
Cycling, got back to rowing, and I think, yeah, why not give it a try for 1 or 2 years, and then we see.
I know. How much can you tell us about your plans and people who are interested in you after Tokyo? Is that something you can talk about now, or is that something you'd like to keep quiet for the moment?
What do you mean specific? Like
I don't know, teams that are interested in you, for example.
Yeah, obviously I can't really say that much, but I'm working like with agents. Like in cycling, they have agents that do the contract stuff, and they search for pro teams. And yeah, I'm working together with the agency, and obviously we are working hard to make something possible. Yeah, so we have to see how it develops. Obviously, there has been some talk, and yeah, but it's uncertain at the moment. We have to see how it all turns out.
And would you see yourself on the road in a team? Is that your kind of discipline that you would aim to sort of to get into something like the Grand Tours?
Yeah, like the Grand Tours is like the main part I want to achieve. Like I don't want to like go on the track or something, or be a track rider. And I think it's more like entertaining, like a grand tour. Like so many things can happen, and it's all uncertain, and it's much more entertaining, I think, to go on track and do your, I don't know how many laps, and in all the same environment, and
So would you be, so your weight now is around 70 kilos. Would that be a good weight for that kind of racing, or would you have to lose some kilos? What would be?
I think in cycling, obviously it's good to be light, but too light is also not like very productive. I think with 70 kilos, or like, let's say 68, it would be enough. Like if you have a big engine, like you don't need to be crazy lightweight, because it's obviously about the watts per kilogram. So doesn't care if you weigh 70 or 65, but putting out the same watts per kilo, then there's no difference.
Got a question from Michael Buchheit to do with yourself and Hamish Bond.
Obviously he's gone a bit different route. Like he aimed for track cycling, and at first glance, and then was planning to do the Olympic time trials. So he was focusing mainly on time trialing. That's not what I really want to achieve. I want to be like doing the Grand Tours, and being more of an all-rounder. But it's obviously a big achievement Hamish did there, and if I can get that successful in cycling, like, or somewhere near that, it would be a good start. Obviously, now on the road, speaking for the road, like my objectives are slightly different. Like I don't want to be a pure time trialist.
I know I think I was reading maybe on the FISA website that one of your heroes or icons was Primož Roglic. Is that still the case?
Yeah, obviously, like he proves that people from other sports can be successful in cycling. So he's a big like he made it. I think he made it possible that that cycling opened their gates for people coming from other sports. So definitely one of my favorite cyclists, obviously. And so trying to follow that path. We've seen things like Bora signing mountain skiers, and the whole cycling world is opening now for different sports. So it's a nice development, and obviously helps people like me and other sportsmen from other sports. So
John T. Williamson says, have you had any contact with Cameron Worth? It's not a name I'm familiar with, but he says an ex-Australian lightweight at Ineos.
Yeah, I've been texting with him on Instagram. Like he's quite a cool guy. Obviously, I don't know when we got in contact, like a couple of months ago, I think. And he's always making jokes with this other guy, Lionel Sanders, the other Ironman triathlete. And there was this picture they posted in the four with Jan Frodeno, Brownlee, Lionel Sanders, and Wolf, like in a quad. now in a 4 award, and we're making jokes about it that maybe they should try going rowing to develop their skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's obviously what he has achieved, like in triathlon and cycling, is something I am aiming to achieve. Obviously not the triathlon part, but yeah. So he's also a big idol, and yeah.
So you're fairly well connected already.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I think like the Esports World Championships was a great deal. I think maybe it helped me. Yeah, but yeah, all in all, I would say that I'm on a good way and have some good contacts, and hopefully there will come something more out of that after Tokyo.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit about rowing now, because we've focused a lot on cycling. So how much did you have to adjust the training in rowing to make up for the preparations in cycling for the World Championships?
I try to at least row 3 or 4 times a week, which may not sound that much, but yeah, not to lose like all the rowing specific muscle. Yeah, so I was still rowing, but yeah, focusing much more on cycling. But it was just a period of 3 to 4 weeks, so I don't think it. For the long run, don't think it would mess up all that much. And yeah, it worked out well, so I can't complain. So now it's all about focusing on the rowing and trying to develop, yeah, some.
So let's talk about that. You're one of the sort of 3, 4. There's 3, 4, 5. It's so close at the top of lightweight doubles. You've come off the back of a silver medal in the Europeans against the Italians that you're very close to. You and the Italians. How did that race for you go?
Yeah, like in the end, I don't know if we were prepared like the best we could be. Like we felt the Italians were really strong. They obviously didn't have any sort of break during their season, from what I've heard. So they have just trained all year through, and I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, they were like really strong, making a strong appearance, and obviously we knew that they would try something in the race. They would try to yeah, turn the race in their favor, and we were a bit like, yeah, we underestimated the first 500, which basically they put a second in us, so weren't quite able to hold on to that pace, and I think that's maybe what cost us that title in the end. Like our sprint finish was still good, but there was just too much to
make up.
Yeah.
How is the double going? Because you have a new coach. Robert Sens has gone to work in Austria. So tell us how it's going with Sabine Chagi, your new coach.
Yeah, so far so good. Like the first couple of weeks were a bit, yeah, just had to get to know her better, and also had to, yeah, be like more confident in the group of us 3. So, but yeah, like we went to training camps, and I had a good feeling from the first moment, and yeah, also like the training isn't really that different to like what I've trained with Robert. So basically the training model itself stays almost the same. And yeah, Sabine is a great coach. She's taking care of us like good, and I think it wasn't a bad choice. Like I think with her it's also possible to achieve some good things in rowing.
Yeah. Have you already been selected for Tokyo Olympics officially, or is that something that will happen later?
No, we have already been selected because
fantastic.
obviously the ticket is always already like given out to the people, like from Linz, not because they all qualifiers from Linz, they contain their tickets, and so the ticket itself wasn't an issue, and obviously the selection with the European champs came second there. Like it's like almost clear that we are the double, so I don't think there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and the Irish were they won by quite a significant margin in I guess for lightweight rowing in 2019. McCarthy and O'Donovan. How do you see yourself being able to take them on and challenge for a gold medal in this event?
Yeah, like the Irish are always like really dominant. You have to say, like the heavyweight doubles also like almost winning, and they surely must be doing something right in Ireland. But I don't know. We tactical wise, I don't know. We have to see, but like maybe the change of coach isn't that bad for me. Like getting some new structures and maybe doing some things differently. Maybe that helps with it. The one thing is getting physically obviously stronger, which is everyone's task. And the rest we just have to see how it goes. And also, like our season last year wasn't like planned out that well because our performance was declining towards the world champs, and we see that like we didn't want to do Rotterdam because we had a training camp straight after that. So, but we were kind of forced to do it from the federation. So that was like, in our minds, one of the problems that might have caused us the silver or gold medal. I don't know, because we were like going to training camps feeling tired and couldn't really do that many pieces and hard work because we were so tired. So the last 5% in performance, we didn't had it. So possibly a bit better structure for next year. It could be more an incline rather than a decline in performance.
Tony Ward asked me to ask you, he had a question about the rowing ergometer and cycling and the amount of watts you put out in rowing and the amount of watts you put out in cycling. Also, people love to know what your, the guests on Crossy's Corner, what their best 2K score is on the ergo. So what can you say about that power, that watt ratio between the rowing ergometer and the Zwift cycling machine?
Yeah, on cycling, it's obvious that you can produce more power, like it's only the legs, and rowing has the upper body involved, the core muscles and the back and everything. So yeah, it's obvious that you can't put out the numbers you put out in cycling, and I can always see a decline in performance on the Concept 2. Like I pull I don't know, 6 minutes on the erg over 2K, then it's like 480 watts for 6 minutes. And in cycling, I can hold like 470, 480 for 20 minutes. So that's a big gap, obviously.
Yeah. So what is your personal best on the 2K?
Currently it's a 603.
Yeah.
But maybe we are working on it in the next few weeks and to see what's possible.
Do you prefer 2K or 5K as a test?
2K.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, it's shorter. Like the pain is not that long. It's not that grueling. So
Yeah. Now, there have been some big changes in the sport, or not big changes, I guess, because the International Olympic Committee made the announcement about lightweight rowing. And
yeah,
you must have seen, stood and watched how lightweights have lost the four event in the Olympics. So the women's crew have come in for that. So lightweight sweep rowing has gone like this. You were talking with the Belgians, Van Bries and Van Vega, on training camp. What kinds of things were you saying to yourselves when this decision was made?
yeah. I don't know. At first glance, it was like kind of a shock to us all. Like we were in our minds, like already, like yeah, like saying goodbye to lightweight rowing, and weren't really like, yeah, we're all going for Tokyo, like with the full mindset, and that it's our last chance, and yeah, fully committed. And obviously now we also committed to make a good, yeah, to make some good performances there. But yeah, the perspective has changed. Like now it's yeah, it's. I think most of the lightweights are happy about it, and that they can just do the sports they love for a couple of years more, like on the competitive side, Olympic wise. So obviously, lightweight rowing, if it stays in the program, maybe not Olympic after Paris,
Yeah.
there will still be some people competing, but like the Olympics is, as we all know, yeah, if the Olympics aren't there, like the motivation isn't that high.
Good. So is you wouldn't be a lightweight rower if the sport wasn't in the Olympics, I'm guessing.
I don't know, because I started rowing when I was 10. So yeah, I did it. Yeah, yeah, mostly for fun of the sport, because I like the sport. And but then when you get older, like obviously the Olympics are always in your mind, and that it's the biggest sporting event in our sport. So someday you want to go there and compete there. So yeah, if you're not, then if you're not having the Olympics, then a lot of people are thinking, so why am I doing the sport anymore? So yeah.
How strong is lightweight rowing in Germany?
I think it was very strong, especially when the quad was at the Olympics.
Yeah.
It was very strong, and yeah, we always had some very talented, good guys. Steinhübel, Lars Wiechert. I don't know how many names I could name, but I think Germany as a whole was very, yeah, was very good in lightweight, and obviously declined a bit with the loss of the lightweight four, and yeah,
John
hopefully,
John
yeah.
C. Williamson has asked, what do you think about lightweight rowing in the world? If they're not in the Olympics, should lightweight rowing be in the World Championships? What's your view on that?
I certainly do think they should be at the World Championships. I don't want to talk like the part of the Olympics in a negative way. Also, for a lot of the lightweights, it's still a big motivation, having to compete for their own country. And yeah, if if there hadn't been Olympics before in rowing at all, then I still think rowing would be there, and people would compete at World Championships. So for sure, there has to be a place for it.
Yeah. Now, in the World Championships, I remember back in 2018 that opening heat of the championships in Plovdiv, where you broke Miani's world record in the men's lightweight single sculls, and you did 6:41.03. What do you remember about that race, and how well were you moving to do that time?
Yeah, it was like always a goal in that season to go for that world record if the conditions would made up for it. So yeah, like obviously the World Cups before there wasn't any possibility because the conditions just weren't favorable, and yeah, then in Plovdiv just went to the venue and in the day of the heats, and yeah, me and Robert were already seeing the venue at the course, and then it was a big tailwind, and yeah, the decision was made to go for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you knew, were you keeping a check on your speed per 500, or did you have a look when you went through the 500 meters at the time on your pace coach?
Yeah, both. Like Robert gave me advice from the riverbanks and from the side, and I obviously looked at my speed coach like as much as I could, and to control the pace. And I think Robert made a little mistake also in the first 1,000 or so, because he was shouting like I don't know, 319, 320, you're on pace or something. And then I looked at the times and it was like 2 seconds off. So yeah, it could have gone the other way round and I could have missed it by a second or two. But yeah, it worked out in the end. So I knew that at 1,500, Robert shouted me like I had to do 140 for the last 500.
Yeah.
So I watched my speed coach like every stroke and to just stay under that 140. And yeah, it was close, but I think it was 2 seconds in the end. So
yeah. And with that, you went on to win the world title that year, which was fantastic. Where does that stand in terms of, you know, your achievements and what you've managed to achieve so far in sport?
Yeah, like the winning both like the world record and the world championship title is obviously a big thing to achieve in one rowing season. So I don't know if I had to rate it. I think it's like really like on the top like of the top achievements in my career.
Yeah. One of the things I remember, you know, when I think of you sculling that season particularly, is the way you put your blades in. It's just so quick and effortless. It's like you're not doing anything at all, and all of a sudden your blade is in the water and you're driving. I mean, how long did it take you to do that, or what do you try and do to get those catches in that quickly, that beautifully?
Well, obviously, like it always was on the list of Robert's advices. Like every training session, he was telling me that I had to get my blades in, and yeah, also like having a good position of the blades, like yeah, like yeah, when they are connected to the water, like to get a good, how do you call it, to get a good face and not
Yeah.
out. And yeah, that's like one thing he always taught me, and yeah, what I've developed over the past years. Obviously, if you're working towards one specific thing in technique wise and you're working on it for many years, then yeah, you automate it, and then somehow it's just in your system. And yeah.
And so when you look back at the championships, it's interesting to hear you say about 2019 that you felt the phasing into the championships wasn't quite right. How confident are you that the Olympics are actually going to happen? I mean, what are people saying on your training camp in Portugal? Is it a subject for discussion?
I think I'm very confident that it will take place. Like they already said, they bought some what is it like? I don't know the word at the moment. Like
Precautions?
what is it when you like for COVID? When you are immune to it.
Yeah, vaccines.
Yeah. So the IOC and they have already like where they have said that, but I don't know if it's 100% true. But they said they reserved some of them for the athletes so they can get it before Tokyo. So and they even said something about hoping for people being able to see the competitions. Like and I think for that reason I have a good feeling. Like if all athletes get this, what is it called?
Vaccine.
Vaccine. If all athletes get it, then I don't see a point to not letting it take place.
That would be fantastic. Do you know what your season will be like next year? Do you know what races you'll be doing?
Obviously, like the World Cups. I don't think we will be doing European champs. Like all of the World Cups and international rowing events that are not close to the Olympics, we are taking part, and we have to see if the last ones leading towards Tokyo, if we leave them out or not.
Yeah. So plans are really well advanced at the moment, and you're looking in good shape.
Yeah, at the moment, like physical wise, good shape. The double is going well. I think with Sabine, we are rowing a bit more maybe than with Robert, which is not which is not negative, but I think
It's good. It's good you've got a female coach, because I remember there. I don't know if you remember, and when Andy Murray had a female coach, I think he had Marismo. There was a lot of comment, and he said it gave him something extra in the game, and there aren't enough female coaches in rowing.
Yeah, it's very like compromisable. Like we can talk a lot of things with Sabine, and if we're not 100% if we don't agree 100% to anything she made up, then we can always talk about it, and she's always open for ideas, and that's very positive, I think. So she also accepts different ideas, and just doesn't simply let us do her plan and don't accept anything else. So I think that's very positive.
Now, your excellent English, people may or may not know that you actually have your mum is German and your dad is British.
Yeah, that's correct. Like my dad is British, my mother is German, and
Was there ever any chance of you thinking about rowing for Britain, or did Britain not act quickly enough to grab you?
As a junior, it was when I did races in Great Britain, and I was thinking about going to the junior world champs for GB, because I had 2 passports, and when actually, like when Moritz and me were in a double, we were doing the German trials for junior world championships, and we just failed by half a boat length or so against the other double. So they obviously went to the world champs, and Momo went in the single in the end, and then I was left with the decision if I would want to go to the under 23 World Champs as a lightweight, or go to the Junior Worlds for GB. And yeah, obviously talked with Robert about the decision a lot, and was really thinking about it. And then in the end, like, we didn't want to mess up maybe future plans, like I don't know, with the German Federation. So we just stick to Germany for that moment.
Yeah. Now, you've got until Friday for this training camp. I've got to ask you, have you done any Christmas shopping yet?
Yeah, like
You have.
done a bit, fair bit on the internet, obviously. Yeah, I have to see if it all arrives on time. But yeah, the shops are getting closed now, so there's no shopping in any shop. So better do it on the internet and hope for it to arrive on time, no?
And where will you be at Christmas time?
I will be at my parents'.
Yeah.
Will be there with my girlfriend for a couple of days, and then yeah, I was planning to visit Martino Goretti in.
Oh wow! What is he doing now?
Yeah, he's like a coach in Zurich. And I was planning to go there at Silvester, but obviously now we have to overlook that plan a bit. Unfortunately, would have loved to be there.
Did you talk to him about the foils on the blades? You know, the blades he used.
The what? The wrangle for it's like Martino.
Yeah.
Like obviously he likes them a lot, and I think he's a big fan of them. Yeah, but we just haven't tried them for now. Yeah,
maybe it's too much and with too little time to try them.
I think it's also a big change to your system, and yeah, if you're really able to adapt in that period of time, it's also another question.
Yeah,
because it's obviously loads up your front a whole lot more. So yeah, maybe you don't want to make that big of a changes before Tokyo.
Yeah. If you talk to him, say hi to him from me. We had some really nice conversations, myself and Greg Searle, with
maybe you can get on the channel.
Yeah, we started with cycling. Maybe you want to finish with cycling, Jason. So when you must have watched the Grand Tours this year, the Tour de France and the Giro, the Vuelta. When you were watching your those tours, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind?
Obviously, wanting to take part in that event myself. Like seeing the guys, they're racing up the mountains, and was like feeling like I'm missing out something. I don't know. I want to be there myself sometimes, and it's like it's where I want to be, like in the future sometime. Have to see.
That's one more question. I think maybe we go back to a rowing question. LS Houch says, good 2K scores for lightweight juniors, and do you remember me?
I think yes. I think Elias maybe is the Austrian guy I met in training camp in Villach. If that's right, I'm not sure. But obviously as a junior, I think I did a 6:28 or so. Like if you're close to 6:30, I think that's a good starting point, a very good starting point, obviously. 6:30. That should make up for a good season.
Jason, we've been talking for an hour now. I don't know where the time's gone. It's been absolutely fantastic having you on Cross's Corner. So exciting. Lots of people watching, and I think a lot of people will watch this recording as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It was nice talking to you, and obviously hearing from you while rowing in the next events as a commentator.
Brilliant. You're an absolute star. So we'll say goodbye to the live broadcast now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.